for? What you waiting for? What you waiting for? Waiting for the sun.
Yes. You've done it again, Mr. Lahr. Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of light painting, my brother.
Wow, that is just so phenomenal and on so many levels, as always. But like, you've outdone yourself there. That was a good mixture of old and new photos.
Well,
I think I saw some of your new stuff in there, right?
Pretty much it's like whatever I have available.
Right.
I've kind of been going through the history and taking like chunks out of a particular time frame and like those dealing with songs like Creepy Baby Taxi. I'm like sitting here putting this thing together and I go, oh my God, I'm waiting for you. Creepy Baby Taxi's like waiting to pick your ass up, man. So
perfect.
And actually this is a work in progress, to be honest with you. Like I had to just shut it down and get it to it was not anything this morning when I woke up.
Well, I got to say, what I love about it is your current position as an artist with AI and kind of anti-AI, and how that almost really rivals the AI frame by frame thing that they do, where it's different every frame and it's like all hand done. So it's like there's so much more authenticity and integrity to it. You could feel it. It's just
handmade by a human.
I love it, dude. It's really
that's how I'm signing everything now, man.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love, I'm always a huge fan, and I'm just giving you accolades left and right, but that was just really another level. And again, the
Thanks.
music that was from that 138
That's from that
hertz.
138 hertz thing. Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
There's about 4 or 5 more songs I'll have to torture you with. I know they're a
Cool.
little long, but those are like the club versions.
I love them. I love them, and I can't wait to hear some new stuff from you. That's really what I want to hear. I want to hear, like, I mean, that was years ago, right? So I want to hear.
Oh man, yeah, those are like those were done in 2010 years ago, man.
Yeah. Well, happy
Where did that time
Monday.
go?
What's that?
Where did that time go?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it still feels like they're fresh. You know, it doesn't feel like they're like some moldy thing.
They're
Probably
definitely timeless, and I think that's, that's a lot of whatever you create seems to have this timeless energy to it. So
You know, all of my stuff. I think most of my art. It like is it. I you'll understand this. You know, my advertising background.
mhm.
You know, you wind up with this eclectic mix of all of these influences and artists and photographers and directors and all these points of view that you've gotten to like get deeply into. You know, that wind up
Mhm.
affecting your own gumbo.
Mhm. Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and there are all these really crazy, sometimes seemingly disjointed pieces that just wind up coming together in this unique, really just
Right.
individual.
Through your perception, you take everything and you remix it into your own thing, and then that's
So
great.
we're extending the Three of Cups week because why? It's a celebration.
Yeah. I love it. Well,
Yeah, and
I love that.
I'm not ready to be on the Four of Cups and the crash after the party, man. Where I think too much. So we're staying on that. And to be honest with you, we didn't really do it justice last week because we were like in the AI discussion. We had Raphael on and Lou and everybody.
What
So
a great
it was kind of
conversation that
busy.
was.
So we're gonna review the Three of Cups again, but we're also this week gonna go through the Three of Wands, the Three of Swords, and the Three of Pentacles, all of which are pretty damn intense cards. So, we'll investigate that and we'll talk about the number 3 a little bit as well. And I've got some
Cool.
other goodies to share. And if there's time, we'll do a reading. I have a really good friend of mine who just just bought a company in another part of the country, and now they're merged. And I was going to do a reading and see where that goes. So that
Cool.
could be really cool to do also.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So why don't you start with
Well, before we get in that, I want to talk about the solstice a little bit that happened last
okay,
week.
cool.
Yeah. I'm the big fan. The Four Corners are really the only real holidays that I actually celebrate because they're linked to things that are actually energetic and not cultural. And man, like that longest day, that's got such a vibe about it. Anyway, we wound up. I invited a few friends, and we were going to go to the labyrinth. That I shoot
Right,
over
you were saying that,
a
yeah.
lot, yeah. And we're actually going to really do it, and walk the whole thing. And the thing about labyrinths, they're not just mazes to get through. The whole intent behind that is that as you go through the layers and work through the layers, that you're divesting yourself of your sin and asking for forgiveness and bringing in light and cleaning off dirt. So by the time that you get to the center of the labyrinth, you're in a pristine state or
Mhm.
a pure state. So,
Right.
um, I kind of scheduled it at a time when I knew like there'd probably be some thunderstorms because it's been that time of year through here, man. Afternoon cranks, and so we were there at 8 o'clock, and some really gnarly little storms were rolling in. And I have to say that my friend Trish Rivers and Audrey Ascuto. Sorry if I man, I'd mess that up every time. Sorry, Audrey. Um, they both just showed the fuck up, even though it looked like it was going to pour, and nobody bitched about it. We just like dove in, man, and like did the whole thing. We got into the
That's
center,
awesome.
and along the road, it was like really approaching like an intensity about it, and things that are already at the tip like that, just like the rod is easy to move because it's just precariously balanced. When lightning's already on the edge, man, it's easy to throw some out like
Yeah. Yeah.
So we made that happen a bunch of times, and it got really intense. It hadn't started
Nice.
raining yet, but the wind was picking up. The lightning was really super great. And we get to the inside of it. I did a little dedication and a prayer and sit down. There's like two benches facing each other in the center, and we were like facing each other, and I'm looking at them. And just about that time, a marble size raindrop like smacked me right on my third eye. Boom. So I'm looking at Trish. I said, so you're going to go, you're going to hang, or are we going to like walk this thing out and actually do it? And she, no, I'm there. Audrey's like, no, I'm there, man. And right about that time, the second we stood up, boosh, it was just a deluge and
Wow.
freezing cold, man. It was
Wow.
like, oh, my nipples were going to break off and fall on the floor, man. It was crazy. So we walked the whole thing out. It takes about 40 minutes or half an hour, 45 minutes to walk the whole thing. It's really big. And right as we get outside the labyrinth, the rain stopped.
Wow.
So I had, I'd been wanting to like do some light painting or some other stuff, there after that. But man, I was like totally soaked as were they. And it wound up not being, I wrote to Trish the next day. I said, getting soaked was the last thing I would have expected about last night. And I kind of had a little magical plan of my own to like forge ahead with.
Right.
But it was exactly what I needed, man, because it just scrubbed me. And the combo of walking the labyrinth and going through those layers in combo with that intense rain. Have you ever heard the concept of an austerity by any chance? An austerity is like when you're, nothing is for free. Everything takes some sort of energy. So, to get energy to do something that you're trying to work on, a lot of people use an austerity, which is so like you smoke cigarettes and you're like really hooked to cigarettes. You give those up for a month, and the discomfort and the kind of like intensity that like is pushing you to keep doing this thing, but you say no and drive that energy towards that goal. Very effective. Like I've used that for many
Wow.
decades.
Interesting.
So I just served it up when we started walking out. I was like, yeah, I make this an austerity, and like, I served this up to drive to the requests that we made and the gratitude that we have and the love that we shared with you and blah blah blah. And as the rain, the freezing cold, man, I was like, it's like cold, like where you're inside is cold, and you're just my core is like all like. So it was really kind of a really magical day. And the next day I just felt, and I'm like just been in this really pristine, like, woo, kind of cool space. And
Cool.
it was a really amazing thing. And I just have to give props for those girls sticking it out
That's
every
awesome.
step of the way. Super impressed, man.
Awesome. A little fool's journey shout out.
Yeah.
Very
I
nice.
was going to do the stream thing. We'll do a stream thing from there, but I knew the rain was coming and it was
No, that's fine. That's fine. I think
but
I
I'd
think
love
that's really cool.
I'd like tested it out. I've got signal there. So, we'll have to give that we'll do a specific, like in the center of the labyrinth thing. And
Yeah.
thing
Awesome.
out of that. All right.
Awesome.
So I'll shut up now. We'll get on to the threes.
No, I love it. That's why we're here, man. We're here to share this all. I love it. And by the way, I felt like a personal message in that video too. Like you are waiting for me. One day, my friend, one day.
Nothing is ever on the surface, bro. That's one of the most fun things I have with my communication with my teacher is like, you get the surface thing, but like I learned a long time ago, the surface thing is not what he's talking about at all.
Yeah.
And they're like 10 layers below that and figuring those out. It's just really fun and has increased my communication skills immensely. All right, three of cups.
You than me. All right. So my first question was going to be, actually, you even mentioned it, like, what is the significance of the number 3? Because I feel like that's something that, even if you're not into tarot or not into numerology, that's kind of an innate knowledge that everyone has. Like, the number 3 means something. Like, so
Well, like the 1 is the unused potential. It's about to be something and begins to be a thrust. The 2 is where that initial concept and the burst of energy separates into an idea. And the 3 is where the first creativity and manifestation begins to take place.
okay.
And that's the first structure that is a stable structure. A triangle is a
Right,
stable.
right. The primitive
Yeah.
geometrical primitives, right?
And 3 is a magic number, man. Don't you know
Yeah.
that?
Oh, well, of course. Of course.
You know, it's I have a little treat for you today. This is called the New Magus.
Okay.
And I think it's called New Millennium Magic now. It's by a guy named Donald Tyson. And this was given to me by my very first kind of teacher. And this is a whole like self-initiation process. So runes, all kinds of things in here. But what this really has been useful throughout the years, as you can tell, it's dog-eared and been beat to death, is the descriptions of the correspondences that go with different numbers, like the 2, like 4s and squares, like dodecograms,
Okay.
hexagrams. So I thought I would share with you one of the things I wanted to talk to you about tonight is the 3s, and just as a magical explorer, you know, you look around the world at where things grew up and time frames that they happened in, and you know they're all named differently, maybe some of the surface stuff, but they're like you find at the core they're like these unified kind of concepts, no matter where they go or how they're
Mhm,
voiced
mhm.
in this thing. And
Yeah.
the concept of a trinity, of a holy, of a spiritual trinity,
Mhm,
you know, we're all familiar with God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost, and the Judeo-Christian thing.
mhm.
But you know, one of the things that kind of blew my mind when I first started my own correspondence quest was looking at the number of trinities that exist.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
For instance, here we've got in Babylonian, we've got Anu, Ea, and Enlil. In Egyptian, we've got Osiris, Isis, and
Mhm,
Horus. In
mhm,
Hindu, we have Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. Chaos, Greek is Chaos, Gaia, and Eros.
mhm,
Roman is Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva. And the Germanic runic is Wotan, Freya, and Donar. And then Christian is Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And
mhm.
it goes on and on and on and on. But I mean, when you really kind of consider where the energetic concept of that happened, that's not just, you know, a lot of organized religion stuff is crowd control and generating
Mhm,
income to keep everybody alive, you
mhm,
know. But and the core of that, you know, are usually some spiritual truths. And you know the whole like concept of God, the whole pieces of that you relate, I mean, it really kind of, it's different stories, it's different mythologies, it's
mhm,
different ways that those manifest, because those manifested in a place where those people would relate to those stories.
mhm,
But
mhm.
I think it's very useful to check out those correspondences, and we'll check those out as we go along too, like the
Cool.
next the square and how those things actually happen, you know. And that works not just for God things as well, but like colors. Like, what are the primary colors?
Red, green, and blue. Yeah.
Well, red, green, blue.
RGB is right for
Yes,
light. For light.
exactly.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like even in the breakdown of those things, you know, it's like the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
these troikas of things, and a little personal magical tidbit. my mind is all, my great challenge has been shutting this damn thing off, man. Oh, it goes all the time. Think, 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 think. So if my subconscious reacted to every thought I have, and Mr. Emotional, it's like, oh yeah, okay. Like if it reacted to every emotional like thing I did, it would be bad for me and pretty much everyone within a smile range. Would be a bad thing.
Yeah, I
So
can imagine.
I came to the understanding that if I like tell my subconscious up front something I really want, and I say it 3 times, that's the trigger to let them know that I'm actually serious, and this is something that we should really work on and not just blow off like another
Wow.
piece of babble out of this guy.
Wow.
So anything that you really want to have happen, 3 times, man, say it 3 times.
It's like your
do,
signal to the universe. Yeah.
well, it's not a signal to the universe, it's a signal to you. The things happen out of, it's like everybody's always looking for shit outside themselves to be the thing that makes things happen. That's so not true.
Right.
You
Well,
are
I actually meant,
you are the thing that makes things
right.
happen.
I
And
actually,
even right now, as we're sitting here and you go up the layers of us, of the thing that is us, existing on higher and higher and higher vibrations, all the way back to the source. So, in fact, we are connected to the source right now, this
absolutely.
second, all the time.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that is potential to do anything with, to make miracles happen like that. Just a second.
I agree. No, I mean, I also, that's my belief too. I was actually thinking before we started, before we even got on, like, oh yeah, how was my week? And I was like, this is like a moment like this, and the live stream are both moments that I really get to be reminded to be grateful for the universe that I've created. You know what I mean? And I was actually going to even refer to you, like in many of my belief systems and belief systems we share, right? Like the belief that all is one, right? That there is no difference between you and me. So it's like I'm reminded how grateful I am to have you in this 3-dimensional manifestation, whether I created you or you created me, or we're just passing energies in the night of the
Yes.
same thing. You know what I mean?
I
Any of
created
those.
you and you created me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
any of those. It's just great to be here. So
Like, think about this. Do you think your concept of me or my concept of you is actually okay? Let's say my concept of you. You think that's actually what you're really like? No.
in your
It's all a
universe,
bunch of input that I've gotten and filtered through my own emotions and my own programming and all that, and I've constructed it. And are there many things about that are coincide that we can like agree on and have this like, oh yeah, that's the way it is? But really, I mean, if you really go deep, my concept of you could not possibly be the real Zen,
right,
or vice versa, or
right,
anyone else.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But and in that same sense, we're still connected to the same source.
A way, long way away.
A way, long way away. That's a
Way,
good,
way,
yeah, that's a good
long
way.
way away. No, you and I are not connected right at this moment, bro.
Right,
We are on a surface level.
right.
Are we energetically? Fuck no. We're not. And anyone that wants to say that, just, okay, never mind. Let's go to the threes.
We're already there. We're already
Okay,
here.
let's bring up the 3 of cups and let's celebrate. Yes.
All right,
Okay. So we didn't really go into the threes deeply last week because we were doing AI. So here we go. We're bringing this back again.
okay. So you want me to bring up the card image?
3 of cups, please. Yes.
Yes, you got it.
One of my favorite cards, by the way. This card, just when I look at it before I even know what it's about, it's always just like brought me joy. There's just a radiance about this card that I just absolutely love. And when you look at it like from this size where it's kind of small, you see the eyes in the top and you see the little face in the surface of the bottom one. And
Mhm.
oh man, it's just kind of crazy. And I've always just really loved the way those glasses look like they're silver, but they're
Yeah.
actually clear.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, just those little hints of color. So the three of cups, super simple. It's like taking the potential from the two of cups and that like initial getting together and starting the spark of a relationship. This is like the celebration after the wedding. This is like everybody's like together. We're now celebrating this union and this connection. So certainly if you're doing a reading for somebody and they're asking about a love relationship or some kind of thing like that, this is going to be a really great card for that. I mean, it's like instantaneous. Yeah, okay, great. But the other things that are wonderful about this is like if you're starting a new job, this is going to be a terrific thing. If you're waiting to hear some news on something that's about to happen, this is a fantastic card. This is yes, it's definitely there's going to be reason to celebrate. So pretty much anything that you're out there desiring to have happen and in the middle of working on, when this card pops up, it's a pretty much not
Good
only will
time.
it like succeed, but you're gonna just have this party kind of like woohoo feeling like this is a really special event.
Victory.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. The celebration of the victory.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a party card, man.
It's a party card.
Yeah, the chariot, that's victory, man. That's like, "Grr, I'm going." This is like, we've already, yeah, now let's toast it up.
I got you. I got you.
Any thoughts on this card yourself, Mr. Zen?
Well, I mean, we talked last week a little bit about it, and I said it's great. I love that idea of everything coming to fruition, right? And celebrating the party that results from everything coming into fruition, right? It's not the idea of everything coming to fruition, but it's the celebration of it. How could you not like a party card? I mean,
Right? Exactly. So let's take a look at the threes across the board. Let's take a
okay.
look at the three of wands, which we've already examined in depth.
Okay. Oh yeah. Look at that.
That's the three of swords.
Oh,
The three of wands.
oh, hold on. It was giving me the wrong. Oh, what? Where is discs? Swords? Swords. Oh, I have swords up here twice for some reason. Oh, hold on a second. I screwed up. Right
And it will be 6 demerits. No pudding for you.
I've got to go into the other hard drive here. I've got so much great content from you. It's amazing. Two full hard drives.
Well, there you go. And you haven't even scratched the surface, dude.
I
I've
haven't even
got 30 terabytes of crap.
Brian's originals, card images. Here we go. And we want the 3. All right. 3 of wands.
Jilly, hey, just want to say hey out there. I'm always happy to see you.
All right. We are
Look
back.
forward to some tea with some caffeine in it, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, the three of wands, super cool card. It's like the two of wands took this energy from the ace and started applying, okay, let's make this out of it. The three of wands, it's like that thing is begun to materialize. In the Rider-Waite deck, there's a guy standing up with his staff and a couple of other staffs near him, and he's standing up on a cliff and he's looking down over a bay with a bunch of ships coming in. And that represents like your ships are not here yet. The goodness is not all together in your hands, but they're coming in, man. And like your work is paid off. It's gonna go, and just keep moving forward. So it's a really encouraging card, and it's like you're looking over what you've done. It's kind of like a moment where you're waiting to see how the bloom actually happens on the flower. It's like just about to burst, and now
Mhm,
this is like
mhm,
where it starts to actually come into
mhm,
fruition.
mhm, mhm, mhm. So would that be like the fruit of your rewards, I guess, or the
Well, no, this is like, the ace across the board. The aces are like the nut of that energy. So like the ace of wands is the beginning, like this energy to do something with. What that is yet, you don't really know yet.
Mhm,
It's at the
mhm,
two where that energy separates and it starts to form into something else.
mhm. Right.
And that's where that begins to make it into, okay, here's an idea and let's make that happen. The three is where that idea has taken root
Mhm.
and is beginning to bloom and blossom. It's not in full, like, yeah,
Like a fruit, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
that's exactly right.
boom.
Yeah, that's
See?
exactly right. So it's like it's like the apples. You see the blooms on the apple tree.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it.
Okay, so then we go to the Three of Cups, and Three of Cups is about the celebration of that whole like partnership and the togetherness of that, and that could be that could be a business thing and the new partners, that could be a
Mhm,
love
mhm,
thing
mhm,
and
mhm,
a marriage kind of scenario. Okay, now let's go to the Three of Swords.
mhm.
Hmm, the swords. Swords
And
is
yeah,
kind of
right away it says worry, anxiety, pain,
this is
sorrow.
one of the worst cards in the deck to me.
Mm. Yeah.
Because this is about heartbreak. This is
Mhm.
about like deep, freaking soul sucking, joyless sorrow.
The 3 of swords, watch out for the 3 of
In the Rider Waite deck, it's a heart with the three swords that have pierced it.
wow.
Yeah, and so the thing about this is that sorrow and grief and those things are not real things.
Mhm, mhm.
They're kind of your own construction, thinking about something and causing emotional reactions inside of you.
You can see the faces here, the sorrow in the faces of
Oh my goodness, dude. It's such a sad card. It really is. It's
Yeah,
sad in a really cruel way. It's not
yeah,
just sad like something bad happened. It's like, wow, something bad happened and you're not going to like it.
yeah.
It's going to be the worst thing you've ever felt. Your heart's going to be broken. That's the
It's
thing,
pretty
man. It's
dark,
like,
yeah.
when you get into heartbreak, genuine heartbreak, and as you can see at the top, it's that the planet that's associated with this card is Saturn.
Mhm,
The karmic taskmaster.
mm.
Saturn does not play, man.
Yeah.
So, like, if you haven't done what you were supposed to be doing, if like you've dallied around in a relationship that wasn't supposed to like continue, you just keep hanging on because you don't want to let go.
Mhm.
Boom, Saturn shows up and says, bro, didn't we discuss this? I made a commitment here, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
yeah.
send somebody over to break your legs.
Yep, yep, yep.
And that's what this card is about. But going back to the thing about it's in the mind, that's also the key to getting out of this card. It's in
Mhm,
the mind,
mhm,
and it's not something physically that's happening to you, although it can be a reaction to something that's happened.
mhm.
Somebody dies, there's a car accident, somebody's really sick. Those are all real things, but the reaction to that is not. It's your own construction about that in your
Mhm.
mind.
Right,
And if you remember that, you can diffuse that. You can't make that go away. And,
right.
there are some things that are worth feeling that way about for a moment in
Sure, absolutely,
you know
absolutely.
but it makes it easier to pass through those things in a realistic time frame,
Mhm.
experience them, own them, process them,
Right,
let them
right.
go on by, and you don't get
Absolutely,
stuck in
yeah,
that world,
yeah, yeah.
like like when somebody dies, have you ever heard of the concept of linking?
No.
Yeah, like when somebody dies, and you just can't give it up, man. I'm just like, oh, and you stay and you stay and you just stay focused and how horrible it was, and thinking about all the things that went on with that person, and you just
Mhm.
absorb your whole light body in that scenario.
Mhm.
You can link with that person, and as they move away from this dimension into their next thing, they can take you with you.
Wow.
And that has happened many, many times.
And
And
that just
so, like,
leaves you stranded, like
well, no, it's like you've seen this a million times, especially people just think it's because they're older, but like couples that have lived together for 50 years,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
like the wife dies, and like the next day,
Oh, yeah, 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 absolutely, I've seen that a million times, yep.
right? And that's kind of a really immediate and extreme example of that. But
Wow.
there's also scenarios like where the husband dies and then the wife just can't get, and the next year she's got pancreatic cancer or
Right,
some
right,
other
right. Wow, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that goes directly to the second band scenario I'm always harping on, man. Somebody dies, it's a grief, it's a time to grieve and go through that. Okay, well, that filters through your second band. But
Mhm.
when you refuse to let that go, I always use the example of anger and having a fight with somebody, but the grief is the same thing. Sorrow and grief is the same thing. And as you think about that, that creates that whole scenario. So the wife is thinking about that for a year, can't give it up, man. It's like her whole existence is remembering and sending out Facebook memorials and like staying in that whole uh, feeling of loss and like everything
Right,
is over. And
right,
that just creates that scenario in your second band that grows. The little ganglia come off of that, go down through your first band, and whatever is the weakest part in you, all of that collected energy goes boom, and you have a heart attack, or you have an aneurysm, or you get
crazy.
cancer, or whatever's the easiest. Energy is always ergonomic. It's
Yeah,
looking for the simplest, most efficient method to an end. So if the thing is to dump that energy in you, it's going to find the weakest, most broken piece in you, and
wow,
capitalize on that.
wow, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's how you see that happen. So
yeah,
working
that's
through understanding the workings of how you can create or diffuse those energies is really a very useful tool for all.
yeah, 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 yeah. Wow,
All right, so let's go on to the Three of Pentacles.
alright. Ba-doom.
Three of Pentacles. I love this card
Wow, look at
because
that card.
this card is about you have achieved mastery over the thing that you do, and you're now getting paid out the yin yang for
Mm,
work. Like your work is in demand, you are at the top of your game, you're considered the shit and whatever that category is, and you're getting paid really, really well. The
mm,
bummer part about this is that now it establishes that you are at the top of the hill, which is
right,
always the target.
right, right, right.
But before that,
You have a moment.
you're gonna really enjoy it. Yeah. So you're looking. We look across. The Three of Wands. You're looking at your ships about to come in. The
Mhm.
Three of Cups. You've got your partnerships, your connections to love and relationships that are really going. The Three of Swords. You've divested yourself of whatever grief or sorrow or crap that you've had in your mind, and you realize that those things are not really real. They're your own mental constructions, and you wind up at the Three of Pentacles, which is where manifestation happens. And
Mhm.
because of all of that flow of energy, now you're at the top of your game at whatever you're doing, and you're totally in demand and getting paid top dollar for your work.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
right,
I love the threes.
right. It's
In
great. No, I love the
numerology,
threes
threes
too.
are creativity. Like if you just break it down to one word, threes are creativity. One is projection, two is receptivity, three is creativity, four stability. Yeah, great.
So this on the top here, it says work to be done. Is that to maintain that top position? Is that what that means?
Works to be done. Like if you are not always innovating, you're dying. So like, and now that you're at the top of your game and everybody's looking at you, whatever you're
Right.
doing, they're all going to steal and do themselves.
Right. That's what I mean. So there's more work to be done. Like
There's
it's like,
always more work to be done. And that will relate to the Four of Pentacles, which will be coming next. Instead of taking all this cash that got earned in this and reinvesting that and reinventing themselves, they like stuffed it away in a chest and locked it up, man. And took all of that cash out of a functioning system so that it was no longer alive. And because of that, it no longer generated more, it no longer fed more. So it winds up just kind of depleting. And now there's no more source to like continue to feed it in. Now everything's being lived off of whatever was hoarded. And now that you've been on the top of the thing in 3 and you're starting to get kind of knocked off, you're starting to feel the pinch of the competition showing up.
Right. Yeah, that's something I remembered. So now this I'm looking at this image and it reminds me of, if I look at it quick, almost like one of those Grateful Dead skulls. The Oxen Moxen, I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
And that's actually really cool. That's very different than normally some of the things that I would see in your work. But then I feel like if I go in close here, I almost feel like there's this tie-dye kind of pattern happening right here too. It's like the way the colors really just blend, the blue and the orange and the white, and just the way this all looks. It's really
there
good.
are a lot of skulls. There are a lot of skulls in my work.
And then there's another one right in there too, like the whole the same way that Oxen Moxen Grateful Dead images. That's really cool.
Yeah, and if you look at the very top of that circle, like on the outer edge, where just below where your thing was, like those two. Yeah, it's kind of like the Ouroboros.
Yeah. Is that how you pronounce that? I was.
Yeah, Ouroboros.
I just saw that recently. Oh, look, and here's a nice infinity going right here. Nice. Speaking of infinity, Celestial Infinity just popped in and she says, hello,
hey.
There is no such thing as time, Celestial. We know this already. You're exactly on time, exactly when you should be. Yeah, this is great, man. This is a great image. I love it. I know you said you wanted to possibly do a reading. We still have about 15 minutes left, but you did also send me some images that I thought were pretty cool. Do you want me to show those?
Yeah, let's do.
Some you took some of your work and you actually animated it. So this is
really, that's why. Yeah, I really dig those.
Freaking awesome. I love it. Let's see. Can I get it any bigger? No, I don't think.
I love that image so much.
Yeah, it doesn't really get any bigger.
I love
it's just so great. I love the animation that you did in here. It's like really cool. I just got a program that does some animation things like this, and it also does anamorphic. You can adjust your images to do this anamorphic kind of view of them, which I'm really looking forward to playing around with. But yeah, it's very cool. So
yes, it is an angel, Carolyn. I've done a whole series of those.
Oh, what's up, Carolyn? Carolyn is here.
That's how they actually look to me. Whether that's how they look to anyone else, I have no idea. But that's how they actually look to me.
Well, it certainly looks like a winged entity for sure. And here's a fire one, which also is awesome.
Yeah, the real looking eyes in that one, man, are kind of crazy.
Carolyn says yes. To me, it looks like an angel. Yeah, this is whew. I think I gotta start taking some golden teachers before I start the broadcast. But this is so beautiful, Bryan, and again, I love the way the animation. It's just like these images lend themselves to that flowy kind of animation that.
Yeah, well, it actually looks like energy. Oh, I love this one.
This is beautiful too. And Celestial was commenting on that last one. She says, "Whoa, Diablo." Yes, definitely Diablo. But this one is totally like an aura image. It's like someone's aura. You're seeing those levels
Yeah,
of
exactly.
aura. I love that, and I almost see like a wizard's face right here in the center. Oh,
Exactly.
I can't I can't zoom in so much. Hold on, let me see if I can get. Yeah,
Yes.
there we go. So
Yeah.
like I see this wizard and he's got his hands together, he's holding this glowing light. And yeah, this is freaking amazing, Bryan.
I love the way the little star it looks like there's little stars happening in the background behind his head.
Beautiful, beautiful
Yeah, it's
work.
fun.
Yes. Yes, agree. And Carolyn agrees about the last with the Diablo. Awesome. This is great stuff. I always appreciate you sending it to me. Really, again, like I got to tell you, like besides learning the tarot, the whole reason I wanted to do this show with you, Bryan, was just to constantly be able to have an excuse to be looking at your work and
Oh, you
sharing it with people, because it's just so good. So you have a question here. Carolyn says, I'm sorry I missed the beginning, I'm just coming in. Where does your energy come from?
Well, we are all energy, and I've spent the last 20 years working with different ways to focus mine and increase it and channel it into doing really fun things. Yeah, and having passion for what I do. I mean,
Mhm.
my light paintings, mm, they give me so much joy to do. It's like I can't wait till it gets dark.
And I love that you do it all the time, and I love that you got people involved. One of the images in the video, or a whole bunch of the images in the video, and we were talking about this last week, you can see these kinds of I don't know if you did it at the cemetery. It looked like there were these columns with these spheres on top, and it was like in an environment. It was maybe I should bring it up again and we should go through it. So good. So Carolyn is asking if your energy is from above or below. What do you say to that, Carolyn?
Well, I think it's energy, and you pick.
Interesting.
I think
Interesting.
you have energy. You don't have to go outside yourself to get energy. What
Mhm,
you do with it is absolutely your choice.
mhm,
But
mhm,
there's
mhm,
nothing outside you that is making that energy happen. It's what you draw. It's what you draw into you
mhm,
intentionally, and
mhm,
what you're already made of. You're
mhm,
already. This is a meat sack. It's a prison that we have to live in for a while we're here.
mhm,
But
mhm.
it's not what we are. We're radiant, beautiful light.
But we're not supposed to look at it that way.
Why not be real? What,
Well,
we're
you know,
supposed to look at it? Like, are
well,
you kidding me?
listen.
That's
I
reason
mean,
enough to destroy it.
well, I mean, like you could say it's a prison, but isn't that, if you're looking at it that way, aren't you manifesting some of the experience to be prison like?
No,
Oh, okay,
no.
okay. That's what I got. That was what I was.
I look at it that way, not because somebody told me that's how it was. That's because that's what it looks like when I go experience it. When I leave myself and I'm in my light body and I'm not part of the meat sack anymore, and I
Mhm.
can go anywhere in the universe at will, sometimes it's really hard to come back.
Okay,
And your light is eternal. Your light is eternal. This is not. It's a meat sack.
sure. So, but I guess, and I guess when I speak to you and I say things like that to you, I'm kind of coming from the live stream of consciousness, those kinds of conversations
Yeah,
that
I know.
I talk about. So, I mean, I'm just kind of.
I don't really see many of those people that are actual practitioners. I see a lot of those people
Mhm,
that are theoretical and have a lot of theoretical knowledge, but
mhm,
like, give me a practical magician that's actually doing something
mhm, mhm,
and
mhm,
can do it for you. And that has weight to me. The rest of it's
mhm,
just
mhm,
talking.
mhm,
And none of what I'm like putting forth is stuff I've read in books, or it's like it's experiential. This is where I've come to because this is where the path has brought me at the moment. Is that
mhm.
truth? my developing into my truth, and I'm sharing that. And if there
Sure.
is anything that resonates with somebody else, and all good.
Well,
But
I
I don't like, the more I learn, the dumber I realize I am.
sure. Sure, but I think, for me as somebody who, we met on the internet, we became friends, we share a few things, like you said, like our artistic background, our, experiences in
Music.
advertising and music and those things, we definitely resonate, with each other on so many levels. Um I, I guess I don't know. I feel like you got me confused, Brian.
Why is that?
Because I feel so much when I experience your artwork and I'm looking at your artwork and I'm energetically connecting to it and kind of trying to travel to the place that it comes from, or I'm just speaking out loud.
Yeah, no, that's my fondest wish for my.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I feel when I'm experiencing your artwork, and that's why I feel connected to you. That's why, again, I kind of I felt really drawn to do this show, and when I created the backgrounds and everything, it was just all like it was like I enjoyed it because I was able to take stuff you created and then use that as source material to create with. You know what I mean? So there's and when we talk about your artwork and your music, every time I, I can't help but mention the layers of how deep it goes. You know what I mean? And how it resonates on all of these different levels that are earthly and beyond. And I can't really explain what I mean. I just know that those are the words that I mean to say. You know what I mean? It's just you know. So I mean, I don't really, I guess I don't question, your energy. Is it from above or below? Is it light or dark? I mean, I feel like all energy is light. I think dark is a part of it. I listen. We could go into our
Every person
philosophies.
is a duality. I
Yeah.
mean, there is
Well,
nothing in the physical reality that isn't a duality.
right,
Nothing.
right. Right. And I think that's part of what you enjoy about not being in the physical reality is actually escaping that duality and kind of just being everything all at once without a
Well,
difference. I
no.
don't know. Maybe I don't know.
No, I because I'm still me in that. It's
Mm,
like your awareness isn't attached to anything.
mhm,
And
mhm.
when you're able to take your awareness and move that anywhere, you're no longer limited by a physical boundaries, or you, there are abilities to go anywhere, different frequencies, different places in the universe, like all kinds of things that are open to you now. When you're in your physical body, none of all those things are impossible. The world
So
spends all its time telling you all those things are impossible.
okay, so you're bringing up some good questions, and I love this talking to you like this. So are you when you say I'm still me, is that Brian? Or something beyond. I mean, it's gotta
I'm
be
the energy that and the awareness that that energy has.
so
Whatever name
the
we've all been millions of lots of
right.
names.
So it's
In this
the I
particular
am.
this particular little chunk,
Mhm.
I'm B.
Right, right, right. So the I am behind the I am, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. I love that. So, so Carolyn is asking, is there a difference between God energy and the devil trying to be deep? Um,
Okay. Well, I believe, Carolyn, that like those energies, while you're looking at them outside of yourself, I would say that you have both of those inside of you, and that every single human has every possibility available to them, from being the holiest Mother Teresa, how whatever purest person you could, to the most homicidal serial killer that's ever walked. Like those two extremes, and every option in between is available to you. And how your energy, the greatest thing that we were given by God is free choice. what are you going to do with it?
Mhm.
So you can take the energy, that spark that is connected to the source and the creator, and you can use that energy that was made to create, and you can attach to the dark, or you can attach to fear, or you can attach to joy and
Mhm.
gratitude and love and creativity,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, and you get to choose where in that spectrum you want to live your life.
Free will, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's great, a great point. And I think for me, growing up, and I grew up Jewish, right? I was born and raised Jewish, and at my bar mitzvah, I was given a choice to continue going to Hebrew school or not, and I decided not to. And to me, what I thought was, you know, not even to talk about religion and what religion is or isn't, but to me, it was there's good and there is evil, and it is what you decide to align with. Like basically what you choose. How am I going to choose? I can choose good or I can choose evil. And for me,
Well, I have in the last 10 years, as I have really like moved deeper and deeper into defining my world by energy rules,
mhm,
it's not morality. There's not
mhm,
like a
mhm,
good and an
mhm,
evil. The
mhm,
energy isn't making decisions on
mhm, mhm,
what's going to happen with it.
mhm,
That's
mhm.
yours.
Right.
That's totally in your choice to decide, I'm going to go out and commit a murder, or I'm going to help this homeless person like get a place to be. And
Right.
so I
But
you know
here are the two kind of definitions of those decisions and those behaviors. Helping a homeless person is raising the vibration of the collective, and murdering someone is lowering the
Yeah, but
vibration of the collective.
that's the rules, dude. That's the rules of energy.
Oh yeah,
If you
no,
kill
absolutely.
someone and you cause all this pain and fear, not only in the person that dies, but in the family and the ripple effect that goes
Mhm,
out from
mhm,
that,
mhm,
there is no other way after you have sent those waves out into the universe. There
mhm,
is no other way
mhm.
other than for that energy to come back to you in
Right,
some way, shape, or form.
right,
It's
right,
just the law of energy and nature. It's not morality. It didn't come to punish you.
right.
It's the nature. And when you decide like I'm gonna live in conformity with those rules, and you stop making waves that you don't want to address, you stop sending those waves out,
Mhm, mhm.
things get way better, man.
Yeah,
It's so simple,
yeah,
but we overcomplicate it like incredibly, and we
yeah.
attach all these cultural and moral and like all these human things to
Mhm,
energy, and energy is not human.
mhm, mhm,
Humans use energy.
mhm.
Humans are not energy.
Right, right. No, no, I listen, I agree. Energy is kind of the fuel that runs the meat sack, right? It's
Well, energy is pure. Energy doesn't ever vary. Energy doesn't change on the whims of something. That energy always works the way
Mhm,
energy
mhm,
is. And the
mhm.
more you get into that and the deeper you go and the more you come to the truth of that and go, oh man, why didn't I get here sooner?
Mhm,
It
mhm.
just, and when you're living in harmony with energy, you're already living in harmony with any of the religious structures you want to attach to across the world.
Mhm, mhm.
Any of those, because those kind of come out of that. And then they got coated with all of the cultural stuff that goes with that too,
Right,
mythologies. But the deeper energy part of that, it's all the same. It
right.
really is.
Yeah, no, I agree. So Carolyn is she's I appreciate Carolyn being here and interacting so much. She's asking if we watched The Shack. I have seen that movie, and I do remember it was a very kind of spiritual message. I don't remember exactly, but I think she's trying to find, Brian, personally, your beliefs. Do you call to God
I
or do
don't
you call
call
to
to
the
any of those people, any of them,
Okay.
not any of them.
She doesn't call.
I understand that the thing that we associate with God, I have that like that's when you hear the we were made in His image, it's not the human meat sack that they were talking
Mhm,
about.
mhm, mhm,
Talking about the energetic light
mhm,
and
mhm, mhm.
the piece of you that is a spark of that whole and that source.
Yes. Yes. That's the
So
best. Yeah, that's to me the best and most comforting definition of energy and consciousness and all of that, is that we are a spark of that fire that is source. That energy you can imagine. When you talk about energy that way, like fire is a great example, right? Because fire, we can see that in the three-dimensional world, and it's like, what is fire? It's just pure energy, right? Like, there's no real physical form to it, although we can see it, and you know
Well,
what I mean.
there is
It's
kind of a specific, it is a really specific kind of energy, and it does a specific kind of thing. Like it's
right, but I'm just saying it's a good metaphor for us as humans to look at it and be like, okay, so there's that energy, and then each flame, each little spark is still a part of that whole, right? But it's its own part of it. It's got its own purpose of it. I don't know. I'm just getting all metaphorical and philosophical on you. And now the question is, where did source come from? Interesting question. What do you say to that one, Brian? Too many questions, Carolyn's asking.
well, I mean,
How do you
source is
explain it?
everything. Source was all the source is the source.
Right,
It's from which everything sprang. Everything, not just a few things. Everything.
right. It's always been.
The source was okay. We're done.
We haven't even begun, Brian. We have not
Oh yeah,
even
we're done
begun.
for this part though.
That's hysterical. Um, so, well, anyway, Carolyn really wants to know: was it God? Uh, Celestial Infinity is sitting there laughing. You know what? I think it's easy for me to be compassionate, because I know that even though I have my certain beliefs and thoughts about all of this and what it all means, that I really don't know. And you actually said it earlier. You're like, the more I know, the less I know, right?
I'm the yeah. I'm
You know what I mean?
totally.
So, I honestly think, people, when they know that I'm a spiritual guy, they think like, oh, you got to always ask, why do you got to know? And it's like, I kind of feel like I don't need to know. The thing that I'm cool with is that I know I don't know, and I'm cool with it. And I'm cool with knowing that I may never know. And even if I did know, I probably wouldn't understand it anyway, because my brain just is not built to understand it in this three-dimensional meat sack that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know.
So yes, Carolyn, the source is God, if that's the name you need to put on it.
Right. Right. And no one's saying that you're trying to disprove anything at all. You just want to talk, and we all want to know. You want to tell you would like to tell us that something, God is good.
Now,
Well,
sure.
of course. I think that we all agree on that one. And Celestial is saying a wise person knows that there is no answer to that question. And I think that's more why you were saying we're done. Not to insult
More than
anybody.
one answer to
Carolyn,
that question,
Carolyn,
pointing
we
me to a crooked line. And the less I seek my source for some definitive, the closer I am to find.
yes, Carolyn, we love that you're here, and totally don't take it the wrong way. Like, we're not wanting to talk about it. We do want to talk about it, but
So,
some of those things are just answerless questions, and
so
you
show
know,
up at the beginning of the show, and we'll do it
yeah,
from there.
show up at the beginning of the show next time. That's right. Uh, anyway, I appreciate
I love those
everybody.
discussions. Not trying to blow you off.
Yeah, no, me too. I love the discussions. But it is time to go to bed, and she says, I'm all good. I'm listening to everything you're offering up, and of course, that's why you're here, Carolyn, and that's why we appreciate you being here, right?
Thank you,
There's got to be a reason, right? And that's the reason.
buddy. No, there isn't. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah,
what's the point? What's the point? Spend 60 years going, what's the point to get to? There is no fucking point.
I love triggering that part of you.
Oh my goodness, God. All
Uh,
right. I love you.
Anyway, I love you too. Carolyn's reminding me I got to be up early for a commercial shoot, so I got to hit the hay soon.
Be mean to him, Carolyn. Make him earn his bucks, baby.
We had a great day today at work, by the way. Somebody who didn't know us got on Zoom and was talking about Carolyn as my assistant. She's like, "Oh, your assistant said this," and I know she hated that every minute of it, but she smiled and she took it like a champ. So thank you. And she knew.
That's good. She deposited some money in the carpet. Let it slide. There you go.
Yes, it's Celestial sending love. Carolyn saying, "Hey, we'll talk again." We definitely will talk again, Carolyn. Absolutely. Julie saying good night, all. We love you guys.
Love you.
We love you guys so much. We will see you
later,
next
baby.
week. We'll see you next week. I'm running the outro. Get a good night's sleep, everybody. Peace.